Today on Critics Talk, we're talking all things Oscars. The Academy Awards have just announced their nominees. Next on Critics Talk. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Critics Talk. I'm your host, Klep, with my man
Wade Swift, a.k.a. the pale Fred Rose Star.
And we are here with a special, not a special guest, but the First Lady of Critics, Ms. Valka Reeds, Ms. Mickenzie.
Hey.
Nah, she's special. She's the mom of critics, man. She's super
Mama
special.
X.
You heard it.
Yeah,
Mama
facts.
X.
You heard right.
So today's a special day, guys. We're
Absolutely.
here to talk about the Oscar Academy Award nominations. They were just announced earlier this week, and we are here to talk about what we think, who we think is going to win, who we think got snubbed, and who we think deserves to even be mentioned, period.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see the list? You guys get a chance to actually see
Yeah.
the list or
Yep.
whatever? We posted the list on wearecritics.com. You guys go check that out if you didn't have a chance to see it early in the morning. Because to be honest, I don't even think did they even post that video that they normally post? Because I did not see that.
Nah, it wasn't
No.
really as big as it usually is.
Usually they do like a whole announcement, unless it was on like a Good Morning show or something like that.
It usually is, yeah.
But I didn't see it at all. I caught wind afterwards, but I'm very, very up to speed on who was nominated and who wasn't nominated. And I'm quite frankly, I don't have any problems with it. You guys see anything that you want to speak on now before we go down this list?
I mean, for me, it was the same thing I had with the Golden Globes. I mean, Uncut Gems I just don't get how they're just continuously getting snubbed on shit.
Sandler's getting no love, huh?
Yeah, it's like not even about like what I think got snubbed. It's like they got snubbed. Like there's really no other way to look at it. Like,
I mean, I can't speak on it because I never had the chance to see that one
You
yet.
haven't seen Uncut
That's
Gems?
probably like the one I have not seen yet.
and I feel like you fuck with Sandler.
No,
heavy.
I do, and it looks good. Like I want to see it. It's just I've seen most of the Best Picture nominations. I think all of them except that one and 1917 because no one's seen that, but it keeps getting nominated.
And it's like I don't even know if it like Best Picture. Like I don't think it got snubbed from that, but like screenplay, like Sandler's performance is like something. Like it was really good.
I mean, are we talking just performance? Are we talking screenplay? Are we talking
I think
story?
the
Are we
screenplay
talking-
should have, like, Doug, the story was fire. And, like, Sandler bodies it. Like, it's a really good performance.
Now, is it just Sandler? Is he the only one carrying the
No,
film?
like, the cast is really good. Like, everyone does a good job in that movie.
I mean, you guys, I know a lot of you have probably seen that. If you've seen it and you think that Uncut Gems deserves the spot at the Academy Awards, let us know what you think. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of good things. It wasn't in the Critics' Choice Awards. I watched the Critics' Choice Awards just recently, and a lot of people who you think should have won was really winning.
I thought you said Sandler won at the Critics' Choice.
No, he didn't win anything. He was there. He was
Dude,
amongst
they're showing him no love.
amongst the people, but the film didn't take anything from what I remember. No, I
Kenzie,
didn't see anything.
did you catch Uncut Gems?
I didn't, no.
Oh,
Nope, not at all. Do we
I'm
want to talk about the Joker's 11 nominations?
I mean, we have to talk about the Joker's 11 nominations.
Because 11
I
noms
mean,
is pretty good.
Listen, I ain't seen anything like that since Lauryn Hill and the Grammys.
ew.
I mean, y'all remember that? Nah, but I mean, the film is good. Does it deserve 11 nods?
Good? I think it's great.
Does it deserve 11 nods?
Absolutely.
Really?
100%.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just playing devil's
No,
advocate.
and I feel you. I love playing devil's
Does
advocate.
it
But
deserve 11 nods?
It really depends on the categories. I mean, makeup, hair, sound, maybe those. Best Picture, I don't know.
It even got film editing,
Yeah, so...
which is...
the editing was really good.
I mean,
Cinematography was really
But it's
good.
going up against The Lighthouse. And it's going up against,
The
you know...
Lighthouse was
Listen,
really
it
good.
even got costume design. I mean, the Joker is the best dressed villain in comics, but I mean...
But it's going up against
Got-
Jojo Rabbit.
got sound mixing and sound editing.
No, it was really good, and that score, it was the score of the year. I mean, by far.
Original score.
That's not even disputed.
Compared
Makeup
to
and
Star Wars, though?
hairstyling.
I
Because
mean,
can you put that up against the John Williams score?
first of all, like Star Wars is just like, well, and that movie was trash. So
The
like,
movie was trash, but the scores are always good.
yeah, but that's something that's like it's not groundbreaking.
Yeah.
I feel like at award shows, it should be something new and refreshing. Should trump everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if something might be slightly better, but it's been done before, it shouldn't beat something that's like new, refreshing, and like
Right.
groundbreaking.
No, I agray.
Before we get into that, let's talk about some of these categories right now because, I mean, like you said, the Joker's in 11 of these categories. I think, there's about, 20-something categories in here? so he's like halfway through it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about the Best Actor one because he took Best Actor at the Critics' Choice Awards, which is very well deserved considering who he's up against.
And the Golden Globes.
Yeah, and Golden Globes. So, do you think he takes this one? I mean, he's up against Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and we know that's one of your favorites, Wade. He's against Adam Driver in Marriage Story. He's also against Jonathan Pryce in The Two Popes, which is not really a fan favorite, but it's getting nods.
Well, first of all, award shows hate Leo for whatever reason.
That's fair.
That's true.
So,
Didn't he?
That would
he
really-
took it though.
no.
No, he never took it.
He got The Revenant a couple years ago.
That's what I mean,
Which
so he's
he
already
really
got one.
deserved it. But like for everything he's done,
I've
that's
never
all he's
seen-
ever won.
I've never seen anyone get it more than once.
To get the what?
The Best Actor.
But do you think that's the film he should have gotten it for?
Absolutely.
No,
Oh.
for the Revenant.
Absolutely.
The Revenant.
Yeah. 100%. Bro, that's one of the most insane roles I've
Listen,
ever seen.
Listen, I'm such a Leo fan. I think he should have gotten an award for Basketball Diaries. That performance is unlike anything.
Well, I mean, like, you could go down the list, and there's like 3 or 4 different movies where you could be like, yeah, he could have got it for that. But, like, I was okay with it being The Revenant, being the one that, like, because he went all in on that. All in. And, like, when you hear about the stories of that being on set for that movie and how, like, they were in the cold and how he
Dude
was
fought
actually...
a bear. He fought a bear.
He fought a bear. He ate a bear. Or was it the horse? Or, like, he ate raw
That
meat.
bear whooped his ass. I don't think he ate the bear. I think
No.
the bear ate him.
The story came out like he had to eat the raw meat from, I don't know if it was a bear or a horse, because he sleeps in a horse at one point. He like digs it out and he sleeps inside of it.
Yeah, he does sleep. Was it a?
But he
horse?
eats raw meat and he's a vegan.
Oh God.
He's a vegan, bro, and he ate raw
Method.
fucking meat on deck.
Method.
Yes. So it's like, and like them being out in the cold and they're like 3, 4, 5 a.m. like the shoots. Like, come on, man. Like he went all in on that. And honestly, Tom Hardy could have won for that too. I thought Hardy was fantastic.
Hardy's always
in that
good,
movie.
but Hardy. You know what the thing about Hardy is? Hardy never doesn't talk a lot in any of his roles.
He doesn't need to.
He's very visceral with his shit. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he's always like the Bane. The Bane performance is like the definition of what he is.
Yeah.
There's not much said. It's very, and when he
Barely
does say
shows
something,
his
it's very
face.
stern. It's all facial. It's all like emotion. No, 100%.
I loved him in was it The Warrior? The one where he fights his brother.
Oh yeah.
I was
Dude,
like, that movie made me
I love him in
love
all
this
of them.
guy. When I saw that movie around the time he was announced as Bane, it made me want to see that more because I was like, damn, this dude killed this movie.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, I've yet to see a movie where I get to see Hardy and dive into him acting because he's always like in character.
Venom.
character. Yeah, but I mean,
Venom was all him.
It was.
That was all Tom Hardy. If you didn't get enough of Tom Hardy in that, like, I don't know
didn't.
what you're missing.
I didn't. I was blinded by the symbiote. I didn't get enough Tom Hardy. I didn't. I need more Tom Hardy.
More sugar. No, but for that, it's got to be Joaquin, to be honest, because like Leo, like it was very like a slapsticky performance. It's not like you know these award shows, they love to go for the ones that you're like committing to, where you really got to like the Heath Ledger type performances, where you're giving it everything you have. You know what I mean?
And let's talk about that because I mean he really did. I mean physically transform.
He lost like
top
60
of-
pounds,
Dude, he looked sickly.
or was it like 45? Yeah, no,
looked
but he did that on
sickly, dude.
purpose.
Yeah, he did a damn good.
Because
job.
initially he was gonna gain weight and he was gonna be like a chubby, like, and he felt like it would be better for him being like on meds and this and that for him to be like underweight, like where his ribs are showing.
Yeah, nah, he did a damn good job overall. What does this do for comic book movies though? Because a lot of people are acting like they're out, but when you got guys like Joaquin Phoenix taking over, taking control of a character and making the whole world respect. Like they're not even talking. They didn't talk about Ledger like this. Like Ledger was talked about, and yeah, he was. What did he get? Best. Was it best something? He got,
It won the same. It was the same award.
it wasn't a big award. He didn't win Best Actor.
Yes, he did.
Did he? I
Yes, he did.
I thought it was
Yeah,
supporting.
it was supporting actor.
No.
It was support.
Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't
because he
win-
wasn't a main
Oh yeah,
character.
he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't
I
a
mean, he
character.
was.
Yeah.
So
That was
But he
his
was a
movie.
supporting role.
yeah, clearly that was a
But I
Joker
get that. Like,
storyline,
yeah, he was
but-
supporting.
But
I thought it was best male actor.
Nah,
Can you
he
peep that
didn't-
real quick?
yeah, he didn't win the big award at all.
I mean, supporting's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, being nominated is big. You know what I mean?
But to your point, like I feel like at that time, we were very like early in the whole like comic book film era. Like it was like kind of pre-comic book film era. Like what did we have before that? Spider-Man with Tobey and what was that? 02, 03?
Who?
With Spider-Man, Tobey and
The first
Yeah.
Spider-Man? Yeah. Tobey
that was like
Maguire.
03, 04.
No, it was 01.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then The Dark Knight was what, like
08.
08?
Yeah.
And then there was nothing really around that.
Iron
2010.
Man was around the same time.
Yep, the Hulk was around the same time.
Just to interrupt you guys, Heath Ledger won Best Actor in Supporting Role
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah.
in 2009.
All right, makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like they weren't getting their love in the award shows yet. I feel like people were looking at it as kind of like niche. Like, do we give these people like how do they fit in with this?
I mean,
It was still campy though.
the,
I mean,
Exactly.
look at the movies that came out.
100%.
The only way you would get any kind of respect is if you were in MTV Movie Awards.
Or if
Yeah.
you pulled a Heath, but I mean, like in the real award shows,
Yeah.
you had to pull a Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
You had to go all in, and you had to keep it like. Well, that's why I don't like looking at Joker as it's not a very comic book film to me. It's a very
His character is not very comic. He's very
well,
real.
the movie itself, it's not like
very real.
it's a real life like. Well, Todd Phillips said he didn't want to approach it like a character.
Yeah.
He wanted to look at it like a character study of someone that's mentally ill and they're going through life just a regular dude. You know what I mean? And you don't really see a lot of that in the comic book films.
And that's the way you have to approach the comic book films. I feel like,
now,
yeah, I feel like DC strayed away from it. Marvel kind of tried to do it. They did it with Iron Man. I mean, they made
Absolutely.
him more relatable than any of the other characters. But that's what makes Iron Man who he is, and why the legacy for that film will always be bigger than the rest. You have to do that. You have to, in order to make these movies matter and get the respect that they get, you have to strip away the campiness,
absolutely.
the red cape, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm talking in Superman because he's the cheat code. There's no way to ground him ever,
Yeah, that's true.
even though they kind of did
No,
in
they did-
Smallville. But
No, they did a good job with Man of Steel. I thought that was a really good
you
version
felt like he was grounded.
through a majority of that film.
Yeah.
It's a very grounded
Yeah.
film.
I
Absolutely.
yeah.
I feel like Smallville's the most grounded Superman's ever been.
I never watched. I've never been a Superman fan. To be fair,
neither.
I've never whenever I see anything Superman, I just kind of I
Yeah.
just kept it pushing.
Yeah.
But Man of Steel, I gave it a shot because Nolan was executive producer on it, and I love the Dark Knight series. So I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. I thought they grounded it really well. I thought that, like, for a majority of the movie, obviously at the end when they're throwing each other through buildings and there's toppling, like,
And that was
skyscrapers.
what killed it for me, because I'm like, how do you have a fight? And that fight was long. It was probably like 10, 15 minutes long.
It was long.
Yeah.
How do you have a fight between two gods? There is no winner. There isn't. That scene is so unnecessary.
It's not unnecessary. I feel like because the big knock before that was, oh, how is Superman going to throw this guy into a building and it's only going to, like, break a window? Like, he would throw him square through the building. That's how it would be. I thought it was the most realistic
Yeah.
take on his powers. And I like how they kind of did in Batman vs. Superman, how, like, they showed the effects of it. It's like, these guys didn't just take down a bunch of
That was cool.
skyscrapers and it was unnoticeable. Like,
Yeah.
It took its toll on everyone in that city.
Yeah, and that's how they brought Bruce Wayne in, which was very, very cool. I don't know. I feel like the grounded way is the way they need to go. They did a phenomenal job with Joaquin and the Joker, so he deserves his best actor.
I just
nod.
feel like it gets to a point with the comic book films where it's like, the roof has been like blown wide open and there's nothing really you can do. You know what I mean? Like after Endgame, it's like you can't go any higher than that. More so Infinity War, but it's like you can't outdo that as far as like CGI and explosiveness and action. It's like you have to reel it back in and get to back to the basics.
Yeah.
The only thing that I think Marvel can do, and I think they're in the midst of trying to do that, is they need to focus on the characters. They
Absolutely.
need to focus on rebuilding stories that people care about outside of the phenomenon and the magic and the powers and all that stuff, which I think they can. I mean,
That stuff is great,
yeah.
but it's like you need balance.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of have they have an algorithm for it. Like the first movie, great. The second movie, it usually kind of sucks. Let's be real. Iron Man 2
Except Winter
wasn't the
Soldier.
greatest. Yeah, Winter Soldier was great. But then the third movie, they have to reel it back in and they focus a lot more on the character.
Yeah.
So just pure example, Thor. First movie, okay, you could have left it at that. But it wasn't the strongest contender in the Marvel Universe at that time. The second movie, garbage. But Ragnarok,
Was fire.
that it turned everything around for them.
Yeah, that was
So
the-
it just comes back to finding the right director, the right writer, the right people to handle those characters and make them more relatable.
I agree. 200%. I think that's the way that they're gonna reel us in for the next. They're gonna stick to the characters we know, of course, like Spidey and Strange and Black Panther. But then again, Black Panther very story driven. That movie had minimal superhero-ism to it. It was more story and I don't know the words like or like more origin and more.
It was a coming of age.
I want to say what's the words I'm trying to find like heritage. Culture. It was cultural, more story driven.
It felt very Lion King-y to me.
Of course, I mean it's Disney. They literally took the story of the Lion King and
put it on people.
When I watched Black Panther, I was like, this feels like
purple sky. Like
when he has like when he goes and talks to his dad, he's like, it's like, yo, this feels like Lion King.
Yeah.
Everything the sunlight touches is yours.
That's like, I'm surprised they didn't throw that in there. Like
everything. That's. I think that's going forth. And I think I told you this when I said that at this point, like the superhero genre is kind of fading out. But it's not for DC and Marvel. I feel like it's gone back to the top two, who will probably be the only ones that can really kill it out the gate. I'm not taking anything away from like all the other guys that are coming out. Like we got
Bloodshot coming out.
Yeah, Bloodshot. I was just about to say that. We got Bloodshot coming out, which I saw the trailer like months before it came out, and I was already blown away because that's just a tough character that to bring to
humble
life.
brag there.
Yeah. Like. It was just at the point I was like, whoa, this is really a tough character to bring to light. Like, with all the shit that's out there, it's ballsy. You know what I mean? But Vin Diesel looks phenomenal. The movie looks great. So I think that it's going to do well because it's a very popular character anyways. But will it do Marvel numbers? You know what I mean? That's the part we got to hope.
Well, for me, I personally think it's like, you just need to fit what works for the character. You have to play to your strength. You know what I mean? I think when people fuck up, it's because they're like looking over there like, oh, let's do what they did. And it's like, no, you look at your character, see what the strengths are, because you're like, how could they do it bigger? How could they outdo what Marvel's done?
Yeah.
People were saying that about the Joker. And the Joker is one of the most fundamental, minimalistic movies.
Yeah.
And it crushed the box office.
But they did what they should have did.
I think, did that break Marvel? Did it though?
No, it didn't break as far as box office, but it broke.
Because it hit a
rated
Billy,
R.
bro.
Yeah, it hit a Billy. It broke.
It's rated R.
Yep.
There's no
rated
like
R.
capes. There's no like exploding buildings. There's not a lot of action. There's not all the things that you would think of like a box office banger.
Yeah.
It's not in that movie at all.
Because you don't need that.
Because it's like nowadays it's like word of mouth. Like if you have a little controversy, if you have a little like shock value, that type of stuff can drive you to a Billy.
Yeah.
And that's what I hope happens with Bloodshot because Bloodshot deserves that.
I think Bloodshot will work.
Another thing we just saw the Morbius trailer, the whole dark.
I think it looks awesome.
Dark universe stuff.
Yeah.
It looks phenomenal, and honestly, I think it looks better than Venom because you have a character that you can take your time with. He's not so much as like a superhero. It's not like space stuff. It's a little more grounded. I think this one's gonna be a little bit better than Venom, and I wasn't really a fan of Venom.
Yeah, me neither.
Venom. I honestly say this all the time. I think Venom did well because it's Venom. There was
Tom
no
Hardy.
way no one was going to see that movie.
Yeah.
Todd Hardy or not, it could have been a no name. There's no way no one was going to see that movie.
Well, that's what I was saying to you about Captain Marvel. I just feel like at that time you could have put anything out. Like I'm not taking anything away from Captain Marvel, but I just feel like at that moment, like Marvel could have literally put out the like wackest movie ever, and it would have did numbers.
Yeah, at that point, because at that point everything was going.
Should have just gotten a Beta Ray Bill origin story there.
Yeah, that probably would have done well.
Yeah,
you're right. And speaking of the strong women out there right now, let's talk about actress and supporting role. I think Laura Dern's gonna take this one.
What do we got? Let's go down the nominees.
We got Kathy Bates, Laura Dern.
What is that for?
Richard Jewell.
For Richard Jewell.
We were
Yep.
talking about that. Marriage Story for Laura Dern. She's been crushing it.
She won at the Golden Globes.
And this is weird, right? So she's going up against Scarlett Johansson, who's not nominated for Marriage Story. She's nominated for Jojo Rabbit.
That's funny.
And then Florence Pugh, or Poe. I don't know how to say her
I think it's
last name.
Pugh.
Pugh?
Yeah.
That's so bad. Pugh. For Little Women.
Shout out to Lauren Pugh, bro. Like,
yeah.
Literally.
Florence Pugh. And then Margot Robbie for Bombshell. And I really honestly think Laura Dern's going to take that. She's just been crushing it. She won the Critics' Choice Award for the same category.
Yeah, if we're gonna go based off of trends and
Yeah.
like how things went for the Golden Globes and how things went for the Critics' Choice Awards, it seems like the same people are kind of winning.
Yeah.
Maybe the academies will kind of throw everyone a curveball and start, and just for shits and giggles, go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
So you never really know. But it's like I said to you, like I feel like after the Golden Globes, I felt like everyone that I thought should have won. You know what I mean? And I usually walk away from, like you were saying, like
Yeah.
I usually shut that shit off. Because
Yeah.
I'm usually like, are you fucking kidding me?
It's so irritating.
Because it's like the people you want to win, they usually don't win. It's always some like no name or someone that comes out of nowhere or something that, for whatever reason, won, but you don't think that they should have. I was so happy with all the winners at the Golden Globes. I didn't get to catch the Critics' Choice Awards, but
It was pretty much the
same people were
Actually,
winning.
you know what it was? It wasn't that it was the same people winning. It was, like I said, I keep repeating myself. It was the people you wanted to win winning. Like you could literally call out the category and just be like, oh, I already know who's going to win because that's who you wanted to win.
Yeah.
They were going to win. It's literally, it's Critics' Choice, but it felt like the fan awards.
Yeah.
It literally felt like, for once, the people voting were listening to the people online and the people sitting at home, and it just seemed like a really fair award show, all the way down to the Lifetime Achievement Award that was given to Eddie Murphy. So
That's fire. I love that he's getting love this year.
Yeah.
I can't wait for his movies that are coming up. So we'll see what happens. So, do you guys agree with me, Laura Dern? You think she's gonna take that over Kathy Bates and over Florence Pugh, Scarlett Johansson, Margot Robbie? Though I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see Kathy Bates win that.
She deserves it.
And I thought she did
Yeah.
she deserves that.
Yeah, she does deserve it. I haven't personally seen Richard Jewell, but
I just love Kathy Bates as a person.
and that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
yeah, she deserves everything.
It's so funny that you're saying as a person too, because it's like we don't even know her. But, it's
No,
like,
but she's
that
like-
person where
yeah.
you know her. You don't
Yeah.
need to know her to know her. Like,
Right.
she's just herself.
I know her.
If
That's
you just
Annie.
look at like
Yeah.
her
That's Annie from
repertoire,
Misery.
yeah, exactly.
No, yeah. I wouldn't be mad. And like I said, like I feel like with every category, especially this year, because there were so many movies that I liked.
Yeah.
For every category, there was like two people that I'd be like, I want this person to win, but I wouldn't be mad if that person won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it sounded like the Critics' Choice Awards went. Like it would have been like my secondary option. Even
Yeah.
though from what I saw from all the winners, it was basically the same people.
So I mean, this one here seems like it's gonna be a tough one. Like we're gonna jump from the actress in supporting role to actor in supporting role, and I honestly am not. I can't call this one at all. So I'm gonna leave this one to you guys because I mean we got Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time, Al Pacino for The Irishman, Joe Pesci for The Irishman. So you got two co-stars going up against each other, both phenomenal actors, and then you got Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood where he portrays the beloved Mr. Rogers, and then Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes. Again, one that a lot of people aren't really talking about, but for some reason it's in there.
There's always one every year.
Yeah.
Wait, Hanks is in the supporting role
Yeah.
Well,
for Mr. Rogers?
I mean it's his movie, but I mean I don't know.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
the
know
whole
how you
premise
do
of the film was it's like a guy. It's like a
guy telling a story.
exactly.
Okay, so yeah,
So that does slightly make sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Hanks is gonna get snubbed. I don't think he's gonna take it.
So if Hanks gets snubbed, it's going to Pitt.
Yeah. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it did.
It wouldn't surprise me with either of them because I feel like the award shows kind of like both of them.
Yeah.
Personally, I would love to see Pesci win it. I thought Pesci did a fucking phenomenal job.
I'm gonna
The
go.
Irishman.
You know what? I have a winner. Hanks is taking it this year.
You think?
Hanks is taking it this year.
I wouldn't
I
be mad
hope
about
so.
it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like I hope so. I
For
just
sure.
I have a feeling he's gonna
It's
get
his time.
snubbed.
And again, the academies, they love the transformative roles
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you like become something else. You know what I mean?
It's his time. He got the pretty much a lifetime achievement award in the Golden Globes. I feel like it's
Yeah,
his
he didn't
time.
get nominated for shit at the Golden Globes.
But he was being.
No, I get that,
yeah,
but like I
recipient.
noticed that he didn't get any nominations for "It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood."
Yeah.
So it's good that he's even being nominated.
Yeah.
I think it's his time. I think if you had to pick someone out of this list, and you're talking about longevity and hard work, it goes to Hanks. I mean, all these guys are notable. They've done
Yeah.
Yeah.
their thing, but I feel like it's Hanks' time. He's gonna win that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad about that.
Yeah. And then jumping into the I like this category more than I like best film. We'll go to director. I'm very, very, very shocked that Todd Phillips is in this, to be honest.
Why?
I just because I feel like that film is what it is because of Joaquin. Like I feel like he murdered it, and then you know what I mean. Like I feel like he's the reason people talk about that film. Yeah, Todd directed the film, but then you got the cinematographer. You've got like everybody else.
The cinematography in that was phenomenal.
Yeah, everything else that this movie is nominated for helped this movie get to where it is. You know what I mean? So, but I think Joaquin is the missing ingredient because you could put anybody in that role and they probably wouldn't have did as well. So,
well,
you've seen what a bad Joker can do.
Well, it's like what I always like. What they always say about like a producer in music, and you'll get this reference is like. Part of being a producer is like you kind of have to set the table for the artist. If you don't set the table properly, like the biggest like pluses for like Dr. Dre, Pharrell, Kanye is that they kind of let you be in your own space and they kind of just like add to what you do. They let you do you. And Joaquin, like all the speeches I've seen from him and all the interviews I've seen, is he's like I'm a pain in the ass.
He's throwing it to Todd.
Yeah.
He's like I am the biggest pain in the ass, and Todd really let me do me. He let me jump outside of the script. He let me jump outside of what was supposed to be done and let me kind of do what I wanted to do, and that's why it worked. Another director may not do that. He has to get props for that.
He also threw it to Todd at the Critics' Choice Awards too, where he was like, he gave him props for taking a comic book character and using him to make awareness and making people understand. You know,
yeah, and he co-wrote that too. So it's like, come on, don't take that away from Todd.
I don't know. I just feel like he's there because there's no choice. Like, it is where it is, and it's like we got to put the Joker in Best Director because he's in everything else. Like he's in every other category. He's everywhere else. So we might as well just put him in Best Director as well.
No, I think you're in that, bro. You're wild.
So he's up against Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, Sam Mendes, and Bong Joon-ho for Parasite.
Yeah.
This movie that's getting raving reviews.
Yeah.
It followed up Joker with 10 noms, so.
Yeah. A lot of those did.
Yeah.
The Irishman got 10. There was a couple other ones that got 10 as well. But, I mean, the ones that we're talking about are the ones that are getting all the praise.
I can't think of anyone that I would want over Todd. I mean, that would be nominated over Todd. That is off that list.
What about whoever did Marriage Story? What about...
You didn't like Marriage Story.
I didn't like it, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve to be in here.
And
it's well written.
It's well written, but from watching it, I felt like the performances really drove that film. But the Joker isn't like, obviously it's performance driven, but that's the total package. That had a great score. The cinematography was flawless. It like the director, like everything, like it was written really well. All the actors performed well. That's just like a perfect package. Okay. I'm not mad at the Joker getting across the board.
I'm not mad. I'm not saying that it's crazy that he's there. I'm just saying does he deserve to be there amongst
absolutely
Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, Sam Mendes.
100%.
Okay.
Do you disagree, Kendi?
No, I think he deserves to be there with everything that went on with that movie, honestly, and he did.
And it's
he
like
did
again,
fine, honestly.
He set the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you could put Joaquin in like a trash movie, and will it work? I don't know. You know what I mean? If you get a director that's trying to go over the top, and it's like what I'll reference is like when you had Tim Burton with Batman and Batman was it Batman Returns with the Penguin? Keith?
Say again?
It was Batman Returns, the one with the Penguin with Keaton.
Yeah, it was.
Like those two, do you guys disagree that those films were great?
I fucking loved them.
I love
the original.
To this
Batman.
day, I still like when those are on. I'm like, all right, I'm watching.
Yep,
this.
absolutely.
And then what happened when Schumacher took over? And went to shit.
Batsuit.
They got a lot of toys out of it.
And I liked Val Kilmer. I liked Val Kilmer. I know you hated Kilmer, but I really, I didn't think Kilmer was the problem in that movie at all. I think Schumacher just wanted to turn it into a toy store.
Yeah.
And it ruined the fucking franchise.
It wasn't even really him. I mean, the studios were
They were pressuring him to do it. Absolutely, but at the end of the day, like, Todd Phillips could have went in that direction with the Joker. Or he could have made it a full-blown comedy, or he could have made it like...
I'm glad he didn't make it a comedy.
I know, and that's what I was expecting.
There's nothing funny about the Joker.
100%. Yeah. I love the way that he went, and he wrote that. So he needs, like, he co-wrote that. So it's like, he deserves credit for all that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you're talking about co-writing, too, because we're going to talk about something really, really, really special when it comes to the next category, which is adapted screenplay. And people who are nominated for this, they're being nominated for The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Little Women, The Two Popes again, and then the Joker, which is written by Todd Phillips and a person who should be very special to us, Scott Silver, because he is a Worcester native. And a lot of people don't know that.
That's fire. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
He also wrote The Fighter.
With Bale?
Yes. So
Yeah, that's fire.
And I've been meaning to talk about this, and I've been meaning to throw an article up, being that we're natives of Worcester, Massachusetts, and this guy having to do with such a bigger film. We will eventually put a shot out.
It's the biggest film of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's and this was brought to my attention by Chris and Lucas from Respect the Hustle podcast, and we talked about it a little bit, and I just totally slipped my mind. I don't know why, but it just came back to me.
And they're both in adapted screenplay.
Yeah, they're both nominated for adapted screenplay, which is
Personally, I feel like they should. Like, I wasn't mad about Tarantino winning it at the Golden Globes, but I kind of wanted Phillips because that is so beautifully written. Like, in the fact that they went fundamental in it. They got to the basics and they got to like mental health and like it's so relevant. It's so fresh and like it needed to be done. It hasn't been done, and I'm glad that he decided to take the platform of like comic book, quote unquote, comic book films and did it there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he could have made it in some niche like artsy film and went that route, but that's what you would expect.
Yeah.
The fact that he went to this big studio like comic book film and decided to take it to the basics and go to like mental health and actually have that, you know what I mean? Like they deserve so much praise for that.
Yeah. I mean, the writing on that is phenomenal. I think that they brought that character to a totally different direction in a smart way. I'm glad it was minimal Batman stuff. So
there was more than I was expecting.
I expected that.
Not Batman, but like
that tie
everything outside of the Joker.
Yeah. That was a little annoying because I'm so glad they debunked it like midway through. But at the end, the tie-in, I expected that 100%. I knew that was coming.
I went into that thinking they're not going to talk about Batman at all because I'm a huge Batman fan. So you would think I would go in there and be like, oh, I want Batman. And I was like, I really hope they don't use him at all.
Yeah.
I really hope that they go in a completely different direction and just go full Joker. And they did.
It was just fan service. They had to.
I get. Well,
think about how the fans would have torn
the scene with Bruce Wayne when he goes to the Wayne Manor and is like puts his
awesome.
and it makes that is so incredible.
Yeah.
And how he makes him like all right, let's, like spoilers, I guess. But like, if you haven't seen it at this point, like, you deserve to get the shit spoiled for you. Yeah. But it's like making him his half brother.
Yeah.
Is one of the most flawless things I've seen in a comic book film, maybe ever. That shit hit me when I was like, that explains everything.
But I was so glad they debunked it though, because they did debunk it.
How did they debunk it though? Because the dad said it was bullshit. That doesn't make it bullshit.
Well, because
how many dads have been like, listen, oh, that's not my kid.
Because his actual birth certificate was unknown. He didn't have an identity, which was exactly what the Joker is.
This is my point.
No origin story.
And I'm gonna debunk the debunk. How much money does Bruce Wayne's dad have? Does Thomas Wayne have? Billions. We would assume. We don't know.
As much as Tony Stark.
But we're gonna assume. We're gonna assume he's got Stark money. We're gonna assume he probably has more money than Stark. He got like oil money, bro. Like Thomas Wayne Manor, bro. Like, come on. You don't think like those type of cats can't just go throw a couple $100,000 to someone and be like, take my name off that. I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Okay, so.
And then he made her sign paper. She said it. She was like, he made me sign paper. He probably made her sign some like non-disclosure. You can't talk about anything that happened here. He's like, that's bad for him to be like fucking his like maid.
So what I mean is,
and impregnating her when he's married.
By leaving it open, it gives the comic book fans.
It stays true to it.
A reason to say yes, it is what it was.
What it's supposed to be.
Yeah, or what it appears to be. I'm not gonna say what it's supposed to be because what you're saying works too. But for those who know the joke, he does not have a background.
Exactly.
We don't know where he's from.
But this explains it because it's like, this is why.
And then when
Thomas Wayne didn't want this getting out.
Yeah.
And she's like, she was a lunatic. Like, you can't have that getting out that, like, you were sleeping with your maid and then you had a illegitimate love child with her while you have a wife and a kid. Well, he obviously didn't have Bruce at that point because he's like, he was much older than Bruce.
No, you're right. I mean,
but I like that he left it up to where.
What do you think? Because you think that the Joker's better unknown, or that they give him a storyline that ties him to his greatest arch enemy ever?
I'm kind of torn on it because I do like that he doesn't have an origin story.
That's the best
like,
thing about him.
It really is. I agree. I do agree there. But
everyone has an origin story, though.
Yeah, but We've gone this long without a Joker origin story. Do we really need one now?
But that's why I thought he did it so
80 years,
flawlessly.
dude.
But that's why you got to give Phillips and Silver credit, because it's like they gave both sides. It's like for the people that wanted closure or some sort of explanation of where he comes from, you kind of got that a little bit, because first, like, that I'm one of those people, and it's like he kind of gave me something to be like, no, but it could be this. But he left it
Open.
right in the middle to where it's like, you
It
guys,
could go either way.
it could be
And that,
Thomas Wayne was lying or Thomas Wayne was telling the truth.
and
You
that's-
don't know.
That's brilliant acting by Thomas Wayne as well, because he's not really a trustworthy guy, even though he's supposed to be the protagonist in the film and he's supposed to speak for the people. But I didn't get that sense when he was introduced. It's like, this guy's not a nice guy. He's kind of an asshole, even though he's. You know what I mean? Did you?
Well, I don't want to get
Wayne
too. I don't.
as a hero.
I don't want
I
to get
didn't.
too much into my theory about it, but
Yeah.
in my review, I said that I feel like the movie itself could have been all bullshit, and it could all be a manifestation of the Joker's. He's mentally ill. He's delusional.
Yeah,
Clearly,
just like his mom.
And this and like the first scene when he's at De Niro's show,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and he's like,
and
and it was bullshit. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't really what was happening.
And the girl.
I was what my theory is that everything you saw in that movie was bullshit, and it was all just a manifestation of what Joker was, his like wild imagination.
Or the whole time he could have been in Arkham already.
And no, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is that he was in Arkham, and that was all just like one big dream of his. You know what I mean? And that's his interpretation of what Thomas Wayne looked like to him.
Critics.
You know what I mean? Do you feel me though? Like,
No.
That's how
100%.
he views Thomas Wayne. So that's how we saw him.
Yeah.
Because he's telling the story of that movie.
It is. It is the Joker story.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like that's how he views Thomas Wayne, and you see it in the movie. He looks at him like he's a piece of shit, like he's not looking out for the little guy, which he should be. And in all the movies we've seen, Thomas Wayne is that guy. He's a philanthropist. He's a guy that looks out for the little guy. That was probably his biggest knock.
Yeah.
The biggest flaw for Thomas Wayne in all the movies I've seen is that he's too nice to the little guy, and that's how he gets caught up in what he gets caught up in. You know what I mean? Like he wants to help people.
This almost makes me want to see a Todd Phillips Batman.
Yeah, like, and I honestly, I feel like if they do get the sequel, it's got to involve Batman. It has to. And yeah, man, let's just stop knocking Todd Phillips, man. Give him props, bro.
Oh man. Okay, so we're gonna talk about original screenplays, and this one's a good one, but I think a guy's gonna take this. So we got Quentin Tarantino, of course, the Bong Joon-ho dude.
For Parasite.
Yep. Noah Baumbach for Marriage Story, finally. Knives Out, which I thought was phenomenal, and 1917 for the film that no one has seen yet.
No, it came out.
I know. It's still legit. We love you guys. But I love Knives Out. Did you guys?
I want Knives Out to take it, honestly.
Knives Out. Listen, I haven't seen anything that cool since Clue, and it's a little more serious than Clue. I think Evans.
This is original screenplay.
Yeah. I thought it was a book as well. Like it's written in the nostalgic whodunit type fashion, like Agatha Christie, that kind of stuff. I thought for sure it was
Murder on Orient Express.
Yeah.
I for sure I thought it came from a book, but it's an original screenplay, and I thought it was cool.
We need more of that. That's the thing.
Yeah, I like what's his name? Bond, your guy.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Jeez.
There's a sequel already.
Yeah, I could see him.
Yep.
I loved his southern accent.
Yeah.
I thought he bodied that.
I think I could see that guy going on forever doing this, and it was cool. I really, really enjoyed it.
For
I enjoyed
me,
it a lot.
I know you love the whodunit like formula.
Yeah, it's my thing.
I hate the fucking whodunit shit, to be honest. Like
damn.
I thought that's what killed 13 Reasons Why this year, was that they went with that, and that was the one thing you liked
Yeah,
about
that
13
was the
Reasons
only
Why.
thing I liked.
And
That-
I know
that's
I've
what
noticed
saved
that you love the whole whodunit thing.
I love trying to figure it out, and I usually do.
Yeah, but it's like it's been done. Like Clue, Murder on Orient Express. We've seen this before. Me personally, and like I was alluding to earlier, like the award shows. Excuse me, fighting a little bit of a cold here.
we all are.
They usually reward the like originality and like the freshness.
Yeah.
I like if it's been done before. Like you could get a nom if it's been done really. Like if like Knives Out did it really well.
Yeah.
So it deserves the nom.
Yeah.
To win, I don't know. I think 1917 is getting all the praise that it should be getting. I wouldn't be mad about them winning that.
I think Tarantino's taking that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tarantino did. He take the critics. He took the critics' choice too, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean,
But
I
he
think
always wins screenplay. Always.
I know.
That's true,
And
yeah.
personally, I think there's going to be a lot of sweeps, to be honest. And we've already with the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice already happening. It's already been a lot of these guys are 2 for 3.
Yeah, I think Joker's going to take a lot. I think Tarantino's going to take a few.
I'd
think-
like to see Parasite take some.
Parasite was winning a lot at the Golden Globes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'd really like to see more.
I'll tell you this. It's definitely taken international feature.
Oh, for sure.
that's not
Absolutely.
even- It's
There's
definitely
taken out.
nothing else that
and,
compares.
and I think that's going to be the one that they give them so that they can't give them anything else. I'm just being real. This is what happens. I think they're going to take that one, and they're not going to take any of the other ones. Outside of that, we have animated feature. Claws. That's fairly new.
That is new.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that's
a
Netflix.
Netflix original.
Yeah.
I
think
like that
Good to see
actually. I saw
Netflix
that.
in here, though. Good to see them in
Yeah.
here.
Well, dude, Netflix killed it this year.
We know that Toy Story 4 will take this.
It should.
It should, but I wouldn't be surprised if How to Train Your Dragon didn't take it.
I don't think it will. 'Cause
You don't think so?
Well, Toy Story 4 took Critics' Choice
Yeah.
over How to Train. I Lost My Body. Don't remember that
What
one.
was the other one? There was another one that
Missing
came out this
Link.
year.
Missing Link.
Missing Link was, I think that won the Golden Globe.
Really?
It did.
Pretty sure it
It
won the
did.
Golden
It
Globe.
definitely did.
I wouldn't be
Wait.
surprised if that won.
No, that was for the song.
No, I didn't see
It was for the song. They won for original song or score or something like
Was
that.
it?
Yeah, it was for music. It wasn't for the
Who
actual
won the best
film.
animated?
I don't know.
Golden
I
Globe?
don't remember that. We can look it up. But yeah, I honestly think Toy Story 4 is going to take that. Other ones that are in here, they're pretty much like production design, editing, cinematography. Cinematography again, 1917, The Irishman, Joker, Lighthouse is in there.
Yep.
I like that
which
that's
I'm very
nominated.
surprised that it isn't anywhere else.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's who takes it though.
Yeah, but why is Lighthouse not Best Picture? Not like I don't
Eh.
understand that. You wouldn't give it
This
that?
was a really good year for Best Picture. It's tough to get. It was tough to fit in there, dude. Uncut Gems didn't even get nominated, and like you guys didn't see it, so like obviously this is a horrible conversation. But I mean,
so one-sided.
that's how you know that like it was a tough year to get into that top 5 or top. What did they do? 6?
No, it was way more than that, dude. Hold
Wasn't
on.
there 8?
9.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think they squeezed some in. I don't think they wanted to leave anyone out.
Because the Golden Globes was 6.
Yeah. So there's nine nods in there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that's packed. And then of course you have you know what we've talked about enough. Let's talk about some snubs because there are some in here that aren't in here that should be in here. Other than they like to keep people in a box, and that bothers me. Like Avengers Endgame.
I knew you were gonna say
Well,
Endgame.
only nominated for visual effects. Like, there's a lot more to that film than just visual effects. Just like you said with Uncut Gems, like it's not anywhere to be found. Like there are some nods, even if you gave it sound.
Yeah.
Even if you know what I mean. Even if you gave it set design, production.
Well, first of all,
wardrobe.
you know better than anyone that the award shows do not really award the comic book shits unless you absolutely are flawless.
Joker.
But again, that's not very like you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like comic book films. Like a Ragnarok is not getting nominated
No.
for a fucking award.
Sound design and visual.
Other than something like that.
Yeah.
And that's usually
Also,
what
Black
but-
Panther did take a bunch of awards too.
Well, Black
so-
Panther was, but again, Black Panther was very different. It was
Cultural.
Yeah,
cultural.
yeah.
It was story driven. It wasn't so like it had the action sequences, but it wasn't like Avengers. Any Avengers movie there's not a lot of story there. I know you think there's a story because you're emotionally invested in it.
No, I mean I'm just saying it doesn't have to be Best Picture.
My whole thing is it wasn't as good as Infinity War at
yeah.
all. Not even close.
I give you that, but like I said, it doesn't have to be Best Picture. It doesn't have to be screenplay. But
What would it have been then?
like I said,
Score
was
was pretty
design,
good. Yeah.
Wardrobe,
The
like they gave
score
all
was
of that.
good.
They gave all of that to Black Panther. Wardrobe, production design.
But Black
They gave-
Panther
But
was
the wardrobe
the
for
Black
Endgame
Pan-
was all suits.
Yeah,
Like it wasn't. There
dude.
wasn't anything great about it.
Avengers Endgame was everything the general public. I know you guys fit in the other category of like you like live for this shit. The general public is everything they hate about comic book movies is what Endgame was.
Yeah.
brother, they put Irishman in visual effects. We shitted all over.
That is pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
We shitted all over visual effects.
No,
in
that's what
Irishman.
ruined the film. It didn't
Listen.
ruin it because it was still a good film, but that was the one thing that I was like, ugh, like I was like looking the other way.
Listen to this: Avengers Endgame, The Irishman, The Lion
Wow.
King, 1917 in The Rise of Skywalker.
Well, it's not terrible.
That is the most awkward.
I think The Irishman's the only odd man out there.
You're like, what the?
I have no idea how The Irishman, but it's because of the depth that they went to. That they did 3 generations, and again, outside of De Niro, it wasn't that bad. De Niro's was hideous.
Yeah,
they
man.
did so
Those blue
bad
eyes,
with his. It was so bad.
They didn't work for me,
Pesci's, I thought Pesci's was like, it was modest and it wasn't so over the top, and I thought Pacino looked pretty like it looked like Pacino, but De Niro was, oh my god, bro, and just the scenes where he's like beating people up, I was like, this is. It's horrendous, bro.
I wasn't a fan of the CGI at all.
Yeah, I don't know how they made it on that
younging,
list.
the younging them up. It was. Listen, just leave it to Disney, and if you're not gonna leave it to Disney, just hire Disney because they're the only
what they did with Samuel L. Jackson.
They're the only ones that can do this. They're
Yeah.
the only ones that can do it.
Dude, they bring
flawlessly.
people back to life.
Yeah.
For real.
They literally bring people back to life.
They could do an entire Michael Jackson biopic with Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Facts.
And you wouldn't even.
You wouldn't notice. You'd be like, wait, he's still alive?
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. This.
They really should have did the Tupac biopic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently the technology is out there, but no one's doing it like Avengers.
When they spent a fortune on The Irishman, too. A fortune.
That CGI was terrible.
It was so bad.
Terrible. Yeah, I mean.
I think Avengers will probably take that. Avengers or Star Wars.
I'd really like to see Avengers take it over
Avengers
Star
gonna-
Wars,
Avengers
honestly.
gonna take it.
Yeah.
Avengers gonna take it. Star Wars. There really wasn't anything outside of the shit you normally see in a Star Wars. For all we know, they could be copy pasting on Star Wars.
That's why I don't think that Star Wars deserves to. But again, you could make that exact same argument about Endgame.
Not really, because it takes
What was
place-
new about it?
There was a lot of set design that was different,
Like what?
like wardrobe wise. And
What? Because they're wearing suits?
yeah, but come on, you could differentiate where they fought in one movie to where they fought in another movie.
Not really.
Yeah, you could.
You could.
Guardians. It was very Guardians of the Galaxy. It was always a lot of space shit. It was
Well, actually, you know
It's
what? Let
been
me
done
take
before.
this back.
It's
Hold
all
on.
been done
Hold on.
before,
Let me
then.
take it back because a lot of Endgame was copy pasted because they used time travel. But I mean, it's
I will
still,
give you the like flashback scenes where they
reenactments?
had Downey being young and like
That's
they did a
what I'm
good job
saying.
with
Yeah.
that. I'll
Because
give
they
you that.
added
Yeah, yeah.
scenes. They added
No, you're right.
scenes. They added scenes to different time periods.
But they did that
weren't-
before.
No,
They did that in
That was-
what's the one where he does that little like simulation where he talks to his dad, and was that Civil War?
That was Civil War. When they youngered,
So
that was
they-
the first time
so
they
they kinda
used
did
it.
that before.
That was the first time they used that
Yeah.
technology when they youngered him up.
And that was dope.
Yeah, but what I mean is like to reenact what already was filmed and to
No, those
put it
scenes were
together.
really cool.
Yeah, so
No, I think Endgame will win it.
yeah, I mean, I think it will win it too. I'll be surprised if anyone else. Other than that, I honestly only think 1917 would beat.
I was gonna say there's not a single category that 1917 is gonna win that should surprise anyone because they're cleaning house at these award shows this year.
I'll tell you this: if Avengers Endgame wins it, it's definitely the Oscars trying to fan service the hell out of their viewers.
Yeah,
Because
probably.
they've been getting stumped like at all of these.
Yeah.
They haven't won shit. I haven't seen them win anything
Well, they won the Critics' Choice shit.
for
Best Action Movie and Visual Effects.
for you said that for
Yeah.
best act that
Yeah.
but that category wasn't great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, who they were going against was just like.
The
okay.
only thing I thought would have contended was Parabellum.
Yeah,
John
I'm
Wick.
so shocked that
Was 1917
Wick.
in that?
I think it was. I'll tell you right
So
now.
maybe that. But Parabellum, it's like, come on, any type of John Wick movie that comes out, like that should win Action Film of the Year.
John Wick, yeah.
Like they
definitely.
go off in those movies.
Yeah, they do.
Like, if you like raw action films, like the shit we grew up on, like the like Arnold Schwarzenegger action flicks, you got like John Wick
Yeah.
is that.
So it was 1917. We're talking about Critics' Choice winners, guys. If you guys missed the Critics' Choice Awards this past Sunday, Best Action Movie went to Avengers Endgame over 1917, Ford vs. Ferrari, John Wick 3, and Spider-Man Far From Home.
Wait, Ford vs. Ferrari was an action movie?
I mean, fast cars. I'm surprised they didn't put Hobbs and Shaw in here. But
Dude, they do not reward bad behavior at these films. Stop that.
you mean pulling helicopters by a chain isn't considered action?
Bro, that is horrendous.
But,
That's called nonfiction.
I don't even think
or fiction.
Spider-Man Far From Home should be in here because it's really not action.
It's not
Like,
action driven.
No,
No.
you got,
It's not
It
really
is, and it's-
action.
it had a fair share of it. More than Homecoming.
Yeah, but
Bro, that last 25 minutes on the London Bridge was like ridiculous.
yeah.
And like the whole movie, it's action. There was a lot of action in that movie.
Got
And
a
you
lot
know I
of night
wasn't a
monkey action.
You know I wasn't a huge fan of that movie, and I thought that was a pretty
Oh yeah, you said you liked Homecoming better, right?
a lot better. But I
Yeah.
thought there was a lot of action in that. I thought there was more action.
Yeah,
I just
well.
like the story of Homecoming.
So I mean, there's really not much to talk about left about the Oscars except just to wait for it to happen, guys. What are we looking at? February
I think
9th?
9th, yeah.
February 9th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. I guess that's when the red carpet's going to take off. I'll be watching. Will you guys be watching?
I'll watch, yeah,
Of course we'll
for
be
sure.
watching because we're going to be keeping you guys up to date like we did with the Golden Globes, and let you guys know who's winning, who's not, and who's wearing what.
You know, that's all I care about.
Any surprises or anything you guys are expecting or want to see the night of the big awards? You guys-
Personally, I would really love to see Irishman win something. I feel like they've been getting snubbed like crazy.
Yeah.
Not snubbed, but like they gotta win something.
Well, here's the thing though. I don't
You
like
can't
the-
invite Martin Scorsese to your award show and not give him something.
that's what I'm talking about. I don't like the reward entitlement.
No, and I get
You
that.
know what I'm saying?
I get
Like,
that.
I feel
But Doug,
like
he did his dude. Come on, he did a really good job with that flick.
he did, and he has a great ensemble. But like with all the new guys that are out there doing even better things or even more relevant and great things, do we just give it to him because of who he is and what he's accomplished, or do we give it to who deserves it?
No, and I'm gonna reel that back in for you real quick because you're saying the ensemble, but when's the last time you're looking at catalog? When's the last time anyone in that movie did anything relevant? And I love everyone in that movie, but when's the last time? Give me something. You're not gonna be able to. I'll wait.
Other than De Niro,
Is it De Niro? I would say it would be Pacino more than anything.
no, I think De Niro's did the most recent.
So let's hear it. What was it?
The Fokker shit.
Which one? The third one that was hideous?
One of them.
All of them.
First of all, the third one was like
kept coming back.
Keith, look it up. Keith, look it up. Because the third one was like 08,
Hold on,
and it
let's
was
see.
a horrendous film. It was the worst
Oh
one.
no!
Was
I'm
that
sorry.
long ago?
Pacino did the.
That's what I was saying.
He did the new joint on Amazon.
With that, yeah.
Hunter.
But he did something a few years ago too. Like it's in my head, but I don't recall the name of it. But he did something more
Are you
recently.
talking about the one that he
Let's
did with
give it.
50 Cent?
Give me Righteous. Was that Righteous Kill?
I don't know.
Well, that was him and De Niro. But you're going off catalog. It takes. You know how much stress it must have been for him to get these guys who are like in the nursing home already to like be on set for 8 to 10 hours a day and to put these CGI balls on their faces and make them act the way they act.
Yeah, the last thing De Niro did was in 17.
No, not did. I'm talking about something that he did that was good.
Oh,
Exactly.
The Comedian? That was in 16.
I don't even remember.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, he did The Comedian.
So again,
He played a
4
comedian.
years ago.
you're
though.
looking at it like he's got these like legends, and they're legends, but it takes a lot to get these guys. Like you see how like I was watching a lot of the like behind the scenes of that, and it's like he had to like tell these guys like, hey, you know, you're supposed to be moving like a 30-year-old here, because the CGI only does so much. It can't make you move a certain way. You still got to move the way you're supposed to move.
That's so
and like
crazy.
yeah, like he said that he was like, how do you go tell Al Pacino he's gonna do it over? You know what I mean? And he's like, but I got him playing a 32-year-old. He's getting up out of his seat like he's 75. You know what I mean? He's like, I got to go back and tell him he's going to get a little spring in his step. You know what I mean? And it's like, bro, Scorsese did a lot of work on that. And to make it kind of come full circle and actually work, that could have flopped.
You know what's so crazy is that
That movie could have flopped. That movie could have been like, holy shit, this is terrible.
we're forgetting about a lot of work that those guys have done, and we forget that Pacino was in Once Upon a Time.
He was. He has a brief cameo, but yeah, he was in that.
Yeah, but he was in that. So I mean,
No, he was.
Um,
No, that's what I'm saying. Pacino's done more than De Niro has,
Yeah.
and it's like, but again, they're not leading roles. These guys are not taking movies and killing them. So you're saying he's got this loaded cast, and it's like by their names and their catalog, but these guys aren't performing that well.
Yeah.
On a, you know what I mean, in other movies.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it because I love all of them, but he was like babysitting on this film, literally. Like, and he did a fantastic job, and it was a good movie. And come on, man, give Scorsese his dude like.
Listen, I'm not taking anything away from Scorsese. Fucking Martin Scorsese. You can't take anything away from him. I'm just saying that there was a time where those guys would sweep.
Absolutely.
And now,
But it's not that time
it's
anymore.
not that
No.
time anymore.
Yeah.
No, and I think that they should get, like, for me personally, I'm not saying what they
That's like
deserve
saying
or
every
what
time.
they.
That's like saying every time Jay's nominated for a Grammy, he should take it. Every time. That's like saying M. Every time M.
No,
is
not
nominated.
every time, but
You know
they
what I
didn't win
mean?
shit at Critics' Choice. They didn't win shit at the Golden Globes. And it's like, just give them something, man.
I
give
mean-
them something. Like we're saying about Endgame, like they deserve something.
They don't need to win for us to know that we can't fuck with them.
No. I love the movie, and
Like
they
the
can win nothing.
young boys know that too. You don't see these young boys out there acting like, yo, fuck Scorsese. Fuck. They know better. They know that.
No, they get their respect, but
You know what I
it
mean?
would be nice to see them win an award. For me, that's just like you said. You were asking, what would I like to see?
Yeah,
I'd love
yeah,
to see the
yeah.
Irishman take something. It doesn't have to be
Something.
anything big, but give them something. Let them go up on stage, accept an award.
Visual effects.
Yeah, give them.
Irish-
Take him
Irishman.
45 minutes to get up on stage.
Exactly.
Visual effects.
No. Give them anything but visual effects.
Avengers, you guys listen. You guys got $2 billion in the bank.
Yeah.
If you don't need it, give it to the Irishman. They need it. Anything, Mickenzie, that you're looking forward to? Red carpet or
I'd really like to see Jojo Rabbit take some.
Taika?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Taika fan, so
Yo, he didn't even get nominated for best.
I know,
Director.
but I would actually like to see him take at least
all
something.
his actors are nominated for his shit except him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Scarlett took one. Was it the
I
supporting
don't-
role for that?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think she's gonna get. I think Laura Dern's gonna win it for the movie Scarlett Johansson should have been nominated for.
Again, it's going to go two directions. It's going to either be the continued sweep,
Yeah.
where it's going to be the trend that we've been seeing
Oh,
for the
Joker's
first two
taking at
award
least
shows,
5.
and so is 1917.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't know how it works. Like, do they know? Like, are they making these decisions like night of, night before, the week before? Because, like, I feel like they could look at these other award shows and be like, all right, we can't have the same people winning every award. We got to throw a curveball in there, which I think that
But
there
they-
will be a few of those.
But they don't.
Yeah, with these nods, they really don't have to. Like, it's all believable.
No,
And
exactly.
And that's the good
No,
thing
but I
about
mean,
these
when I say
categories.
curveball, I mean like give it to somebody who hasn't won the last two. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because from what the list I seen for the Critics' Choice, it was the same people winning that
But if
won
it's
at the Golden
deserved,
Globes.
it's deserved.
If it's deserved, it's deserved, absolutely. But again, like you said, there's a lot of deserving people on all those lists.
Yeah, I wouldn't
it's
be
like-
disappointed either way in a lot
Exactly. So
Oh.
there's like a few of those. There were like 2 or 3. There were like 3 or 4. I mean, that I was like, I wouldn't be mad if any of them won.
I
Yeah.
think. I mean, honestly, if 2 popes won, I'd be like, what the?
That's the only one where I'm like, only because Uncut's not there. Uncut Gems should be there. So the fact that 2 popes is on there, I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, my bad. Shout out to everyone that involved with the 2 popes, but get that shit out of here. I'm sorry.
2
Sorry,
popes
Anthony
should be
Hopkins.
Uncut
Yeah.
Gems. 2 popes should be uncut gems.
Yes.
I'd like to see Charlize Theron take for Megyn Kelly because her portrayal was like.
Yeah, was she nominated? Did we? You didn't?
Yeah,
I don't- can we
you
just
didn't
go
even
over that
do.
real quick?
Yeah, you
Which
didn't even
one?
do
You
Best
didn't-
Actress.
You didn't do Best Actress.
I did do best.
No, you
actress.
did
didn't.
Best Supporting Actress.
You did supporting.
I did because
You
I,
didn't read a single one of those.
Are you
names.
sure?
Yes.
Yeah, no, you didn't do the.
Well,
But
listen, okay. Let me bring
skipped.
it back. Let me bring it back. So,
bring it back.
this is a good one because listen, I got rep my people. Even though the movie shouldn't win anything, I think Cynthia Erovo, for Harriet is a good look. Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story. That's good that she's nominated for that. There. How you say her name? Saoirse Ronan for Little Women. I don't know who she is.
You got me.
You do.
I do.
You do if you look at her.
Maybe I'll go look at it.
Okay, go look at her.
Charlize Theron for Bombshell.
I think she's gonna take that.
I actually
Honestly,
think Renee Zellweger's taking this for Judy.
you think?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I was looking at that.
No
too.
question.
So she's gonna clean sweep. You're thinking?
Renee Zellweger? That's
Yeah.
the only one she's nominated for.
No, because she won the Golden Globe for that.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Oh,
she
yeah.
won
yeah.
The Critics'
Yeah.
Choice.
I think she's taking that, hands down. She's taking that for sure.
For me, it would be either Renee or Charlize. I would love to see Charlize Theron win it. To be honest, I wanted to see her
Bombshell?
win the Golden Globe.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Scarlett wins? Do you know what that would do for Black Widow?
Yo, it'd be
Yeah.
huge. It'd be huge. I wouldn't be mad about it because, like I said, that movie was her and Adam Driver that really drove that film. Like their chemistry
Driver.
and the way. Yeah.
No pun. He drove that movie. Adam Driver drove.
No, all pun intended. No, so I was kind of upset that he didn't get nominated for anything. But again, this was a really tough year for like best actor.
Nah, he did. He got nominated for actor.
Oh,
Yeah,
did he?
yeah, you didn't go over that either.
Yes, I did.
Was it barely?
I did. 'cause I
No,
said
okay.
Antonio
It's
Banderas.
because we talked about Joaquin Phoenix for
we've been
45
yeah.
minutes.
This is the Joker show, guys. You
Yeah.
gotta-
No,
We-
yeah.
It's hard to talk about anything other than the one
really
comic book
is.
movie that's not supposed to be a comic book
Yeah.
movie. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
So obviously, if Scarlett takes it for Marriage Story, if Florence Pugh takes it for Little Women, that's huge for Black Widow because she's playing Yelena Belova.
oh yeah, that's right, she is.
So-
yeah.
That's gonna be huge for
Listen,
that movie.
Y'all can say what you want about Marvel, but they have predicted a lot of stars before they were stars.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth,
I was watching.
Yeah, that's so true.
Tom Hiddleston.
When I was watching the Critics' Choice Awards, and I was looking at
They
the
brought
people
Robert
who were,
Downey back from the dead.
Yeah.
people that were nominated. They were showing what's his name, the Luke Cage guy. Can't remember his name. Michael Coulter.
Yep.
Well, he
That's your
was
boy too. How do
he
you
was
forget that?
nominated for something. He was nominated for something. There was someone else that was nominated. I was like, oh, all these guys are like Marvel people. And I was like, Marvel was casting them before they were anything.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of turned them into things.
Yeah. So, yeah, shout out to Marvel, man.
But yeah, and then you got to look at the catalog of those other actors and actresses. They kind of don't do shit. Like
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth, not that good of a fucking actor.
Nah.
Really not that
Yeah.
good. But
He's funny as hell.
he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's real funny.
But he's not like
I liked him in Men in
Golden
Black.
Globe.
He's like Zac Efron to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
Like,
the
he does
Australian
well.
Zac Efron.
He's funny,
He's-
but it's not winning
yeah.
any awards
Yeah,
for his
yeah.
performances.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, guys.
Shout out to Zac Efron though.
The
We love you, man.
February 9th, guys. 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what station's going to be. It's usually what, like E, and
All of them.
then it goes to like
Yeah, Ease the Red Carpet. I think it's on ABC, I believe.
probably
I
NBC, ABC. I don't know.
all
Who
of the
knows?
C's,
Just
yeah,
man.
chill,
ABC,
yeah,
NBC.
guys, you'll figure it out. That's all I have to say about the Oscar awards. I don't have any surprises. There's no host again this year, if you guys didn't know, which I thought was a great formula last
It was
year. There was
so fun last year.
I
with no
honestly
host.
think they should just totally include the industry because it's an industry
Yeah.
award show. They don't really need to have it focus on one person to save the night. I think that if they just let everybody play and have fun and enjoy and celebrate their wins and losses, that's the best way to do it. So kudos to the Academy for focusing on what the show is really about instead of trying to entertain people with one person.
Well, because with the Golden Globes, Ricky Gervais kind of like stole the show.
yeah.
He was catching all the headlines the next day.
Yeah, and
It's like that's not what you want.
And
Like
he- and
it
he
was
was-
interesting, but it was not what you want. for
and
a
I don't
award
even
show.
think he was interesting. I just think like that whole shock value shit.
No,
is
that's what it
kinda-
was.
Like I want to see people enjoy.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's old now.
Yeah,
It's-
like let's have fun. Let's for once make this shit look like everyone should do it. You know, instead of being afraid to be in the audience because you don't know if you're gonna get roasted all night. Like it's like it's become a roast fest. Like literally, they get some hosts that come up there talking shit about everybody in the room and expect to get laughs and claps. Like that's dead, man.
Yeah, I'm not
That's dead.
because it works and then it kind of doesn't. And I mean,
last year, I thought it was great last year with the multiple, just every category had its own announcers and stuff. I thought that was great.
I wish we could get someone like Carrie, the fucking host.
carry it.
Jim Carrey.
Oh,
I wish we could get
I
someone
thought you said like carry
Yeah,
them
I
out
was
like
like-
on some puffy shit.
Yeah, no. I just want to see someone's gonna have some fun. Like this roasting shit is like getting played, man. The next day there's like headlines, like you said, just people just getting shitted on.
We need Jack Black.
Jack Black.
We need Jack Black.
So
he
can
can
sing
save
songs
us.
all night.
Who was the one that did it like 5 or 6 years ago? He did it like 3 or 4 years in a row. I'm trying to think of who the hell.
Kimmel's
it was.
did it more than once.
I think it might have been Kimmel, but I like really enjoyed it. He came out, he
Yeah.
said some funny things. He wasn't
Yeah.
roasting anyone. He was just making fun of certain things, and it was funny. And it
You,
was
you know what? This is a job that I think late night guys should get because this is what they do
Yeah.
every night.
Yeah,
so
like I wouldn't be mad seeing like Conan host one of these.
Conan hasn't done it yet. I don't think.
Yeah, I
Get
don't think
Stephen
I,
Colbert.
Colbert. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Seth
love this.
Meyers.
Yeah, something
Yep.
like that, man. I mean, if you're gonna have a host that hosts.
Yeah.
You know, there's these comedians that are good, but they literally just go up there to be edgy and talk so much shit.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. But we'll see. But yeah, I'll be watching. I don't know what I want to see. I just want to see a good show. Like I said, I don't care about. It's gonna be good wins no matter who takes things home. I just really want to see a very entertaining show because there's been times where it hasn't been, and I don't want to be sitting there cringing all night either. Like,
Yeah.
that's like the shock value shit. Like that's dead. But yeah, that's all I got, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that you guys heard it here at Critix Talk. Make sure you guys are tuning in February 9th, 2020 for the 92nd. 92nd. Almost at
Jesus
100.
Christ.
That's what they're going to
Crazy,
do for the 100th.
Oh my god.
Die.
Crazy.
Start over.
They're all gonna die.
The reboot.
Yeah. Yo,
The
the reboot.
Oscar 2.0.
The 92nd Academy Award ceremony takes place February 9th. Again, guys, 2020, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Check it out.
Make sure you guys tune in because we definitely will be. Let us know what you guys think in the comments about any of the nods or nominations that you guys heard. Anyone that you wish was there. Anyone that you hope doesn't show up or wasn't there. We're here for it all. That's what Critix is all about. Not us. It's all about you. So until next time, guys, we want to make sure that you all wake up, be passionate, create, and repeat. Critix Talk. We out.
Bye.